What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Compassion Diaries. I have a special guest today, my sister in love, Alicia, in the building. Thanks, Alicia. You're officially my first guest, and I'm super excited because I don't even know what we're going to talk about yet. So thanks for taking the time to be with me here today and for your support and everything for our podcast. But like I mentioned, we're just going to make this like a fun conversation. We're just going to talk about your life and the journey you've been on. Gosh, I met Alicia. What grade were you in?
I think in high school, right?
Yes, you were in
Yeah.
high school when I first
I don't
met.
know what grade though, but
I know. Gosh, I can't even remember. But yes, I think you're maybe a junior, I think.
maybe no. Yeah, I think it was like senior year maybe
Was it
because
senior
it was
year?
after grandma died. So
Oh,
yeah,
got
so it had to
it.
be like senior year
Senior
probably.
year? Okay,
Yeah, maybe the
gotcha.
yeah, it had to be senior year.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's crazy. So, guys, I've been able to witness Alicia growing up from being a senior in high school to, accomplishing her nursing degree to becoming a nurse, to getting married, to becoming a mom and all that. So, I invited her here on with us today just to hear her journey, right? Just to see and hear what she's been through in life. So Alicia, let's take it back a little bit, right? Because, I've always looked up to you because you are next in line after Leo, right? And you're the oldest of your bunch, right?
Yeah,
From your dad and
the second
stuff.
half.
The second half,
Yeah.
exactly. And you've always had that like leadership quality in you as a sister, right? Even as I love the closeness that you have with your mom, right? That's always been so admirable. So tell us, at what point in your life did you say, that you wanted to be a nurse, and why did you want to be a nurse?
I think I don't know, I've always wanted to be a nurse. I think mainly because my grandma, she used to live with us, so I think I always saw like nurses come, the home health nurses come and help.
Yeah,
So I just always knew like I wanted to help people.
yeah,
So yeah, I've always just wanted to be a nurse.
that's awesome. That's totally like engraved in you. I mean, I just remember the story you told us when you were working not too long ago, and one of your patients, I guess, was homeless, right? And they needed just to be bathed, or you gave them a haircut and all that. And that takes a gift, guys, right? Not everyone could do what nurses do. So definitely shout out to all the nurses out there. And just you seeing from when you're little and, taking care of your grandma and everything and saying, wow, when I grow up, I want to do this,
Yeah.
right? That's beautiful. Going to nursing school, I'm sure was not easy.
No.
Is there any advice you could give, like, you know,
Future nurses?
yeah, seriously.
Um, I mean, just have like a good support system, I guess.
Mm,
Like, yeah, I mean, thankfully my family was like very supportive and everything. So I had great friends and everything. So
yeah.
just like have a good support system basically and make sure to study. Don't have
Yes.
too much fun.
Right. And you're
Yeah, the fun
so
will come later.
and you're so good at that,
Yeah, just
right?
yeah, being focused. Yeah.
Yeah,
You really
you're
have
so
to focus
disciplined.
yourself. Yeah.
Because I remember, guys, we would be at like family parties, family functions, and Alicia would have like her notebooks with her, different colored pens, y'all. I mean, this girl would even take notes during class and then rewrite her notes that she took. Talk about like
Yeah.
perfectionist and like type A personality, right?
Definitely type A, yeah.
Wow. Were there moments, Alicia, where you're like, man, this is too much. I want to give up. I'm getting exhausted. Like, what just kept you going?
Yeah, it was really hard. Like, I mean, especially I think the first year of nursing was really hard. Like, especially because I came from a community college and
Yes.
then I went to university. I went to
Right.
Cal State San Bernardino, so it was just a big transition for me.
Yeah.
But thankfully, I just pushed through. I knew, like, hey, you have to get through this.
Right.
Like, you have to support your family. Like, I
Mm.
knew, obviously, nursing is a great career.
Yeah.
So I was like, you're gonna have to do something with your life. And yeah.
Wow. And girl, like going into nursing to Cal State San Bernardino is not easy,
Mm.
right? Like they take like the top students. And I mean, this girl is smart and she's super like humble about it. But like I know people who try to get into Cal State San Bernardino and they look at like your GPAs, your grades, your transcripts and all of that.
Yeah.
So I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, like kudos to you.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I would have just went straight to university, but it's okay. I mean, God had a plan, so
He sure did, because who did you meet at the community college?
I met my husband. Yeah. So
Ah!
he had a bigger plan, I guess.
Right? Hey, shout out to Anthony. We will have you on the podcast soon. Nice. So, how did you meet your husband?
I originally met him when we were in Spanish class,
Okay.
but we didn't really like. I think we talked maybe the last day,
Uh
like
huh.
on finals day, because we had like a
Oh.
group presentation,
Uh huh.
and then we actually had. I think it was the next semester. We had a communications class together.
Ah,
So yeah,
okay.
then we started talking then.
Oh,
But we were just
nice.
friends, friends. I
Yeah.
was like, I don't want to be anything more.
Right, right. Because remember, guys, she said she was
Yeah, I was
focused.
focused. I was like, no boys. Yeah.
Gotcha. Hey, guys, fast forward 2021, was it?
Yeah.
Fast forward, and we'll talk about that in a second. Alicia asked me to officiate their wedding, which is crazy. Oh my gosh, so that's amazing. And again, shout out to your husband, to Anthony, right? Do you want to tell them what he did prior to like him meeting you?
Oh, I'm like, what did he do?
He served.
Oh yeah, he was in the military. I mean, that's like, yeah, he was in the army. He was, I think, right after high school. Yeah, he was in the
Wow.
military for the 3.5 years. Yeah.
Wow. So again, shout out to Anthony, shout out to everyone that has served our country, past, present, and future. Like your guys' sacrifices is, is just beyond appreciated, right? So thank you so much. Very cool. So you and Anthony met, you guys dated for a few years,
Yeah.
right? And then he popped the question and all that. And even in that transition, right? You became, if you want to talk about it a little bit, you became a stepmom,
Yeah.
right? How was that? Because there's a lot of ladies out there, even stepdads, step parents. Like, how do you do it?
I don't know. I don't know how I still do it. I
Right?
mean, yeah, it was really hard. I
Yeah.
mean, people, told me in the beginning, like, oh, are you sure you want to be with this guy? Like,
Mm.
you're gonna be like
Did
a
he tell you right away that he's a dad?
yeah, like we were friends, so I knew right away he had a kid. So that's
Got
why I was
it.
like a definite no too, like
Oh,
red flag. Like
really? This part I
no.
didn't know.
Yeah, I was like no, he's 5 years older than me. That was one of my red
Oh,
flags. Another
okay.
red flag was having a kid. I was like, and then another
Wow.
red flag was being in the military. I said no military guys. Like he literally
Really?
like met all my red flags. I was like, why did I not listen to them?
Really? Wait,
Yeah.
hold on. Why military red flag?
I don't know. I just heard like they're just like players.
Ah,
Like yeah, I don't know. I just was like no, I don't want to be with military.
yeah.
And so yeah, I mean, being a stepmom was very hard. I
Hmm.
mean, just even like the first couple years, like I
Because
mean,
how old was Bella when you guys first got together?
I want to say like 5. Like I
Wow.
met her probably around like 4.5. I want to
Okay.
say, but
Yeah.
like yeah, because I remember her first birthday was like when my I think my mom met her
Got
like around
it.
5. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. And how was that transition and like even till now? Because she's now what, 13?
No, she's 15.
15. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. I'm so bad with my age, guys. Don't judge.
Yeah, she's 15. So yeah,
So it's been 10, it's been a decade.
it's been crazy. Yeah, it's been a crazy up and down roller coaster for sure. Yeah.
Any advice out there for like stepmom, stepdads out there?
I mean, for advice, I mean, don't do it.
Don't do
Run another way.
Stop.
No, I'm just kidding. No, really
Oh
for advice, I mean, I've always treated like everybody like if I knew like I'm gonna be with this person, of course I was gonna treat them like my own. So I
man.
mean, I would just treat Bella as your own. Like any future kids that
Yeah.
you have, if somebody else has like
Yeah.
another kid, just treat them as your own. Just love
Mm-hmm.
them, as your own. I
Yeah.
mean, there's not really any advice because it's gonna be a roller coaster for sure,
Yeah.
especially if the other partner isn't on board with
Mm.
like so. It's really hard.
Yeah. I hear that a lot, right? Where the partner, your husband or whatnot, is not on board. And I know it's not easy being a single parent because I was once in that season, right? And there's like that guilty conscience where you're like, man, if I don't give my child everything and, you feel bad or you feel like, man, am I doing enough for my kid?
Yeah.
So that's probably where maybe the gap was, the disconnect and stuff like that. Because I hear that as a pattern from my friends also who are step parents, right? Um, but no, that's beautiful, Alicia. I mean, that just shows you your heart because that's not easy,
No, it's not.
you
And
know?
I don't think people realize like how hard it is, especially because I was young. I
Yeah.
mean, I was only 20,
Wow.
so I was really young,
Yeah.
and people don't realize like how young I was, like how much
Mm.
sacrifice I made. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't want to say sacrifice, but that's what it is. It's really a
Yeah.
sacrifice.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it was really hard.
Yeah. And you did it for Anthony. You did it for your husband,
Yeah.
right? And it shows you how much you love him. You might not say it all the time, right? I know we always like joke around and stuff, but I think for someone to say, I'm gonna just rough it out because Bella is part of you, then I'm part of you guys too,
Yeah.
right? And if I look back, man, I gotta give mom kudos.
My whole family. I mean, everybody
Absolutely.
accepted Bella just like it was anybody, like it was my own child. So yeah, I
Yes.
really appreciate like my whole family accepting her.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even in my story, right? Like Leo accepted Darlene and Lance. Mom accepted my kid. All of you guys, like I would say we're kind of like a blended
Yeah.
family, no?
Yeah.
And other families would be like, "Oh, don't do it," or they'd be maybe more judgmental,
Yeah.
but not this family. Yeah, so we're all grateful for that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. So that's you about being, a step parent. So thank you for the advice on that. What about married life? Like, how's it going? So we're now in 2025.
Yeah. So we're now like 3 years in, I think. Yeah. Or we're
Wow.
gonna be 3 years. May 21st, or what? No, September 21st. May was when we got the court. When we
Okay,
went to court,
gotcha.
I was like, yeah. So May was when we got married at the court, and
Yeah,
then September when we had the actual wedding.
got it.
So yeah, yeah, almost 3 years. Yeah.
Wow,
So or
time
it has been
flies.
3 years. Yeah. So yeah, time has flown. I mean, yeah. Again, it's been a real challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not
What's
easy.
challenging about married life?
I think again, it's just the whole being the
The
step parent
yeah.
for right now. Like it's been a big challenge.
Okay.
That's been, and then the whole like communication. I feel
Mm.
like communication is always a big challenge in like any relationship, not
Yeah.
even like marriage, just in general relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that, right? Because I mean, your personality, your character is like, I mean, just taking you back from like high school, right? Someone who's very organized, that likes to stay on top of things, very responsible,
Yeah.
right? And then you marry someone who might not be on the same page as you.
Yeah, he's very like type B. I'm very type A. He's more relaxed, go with the flow. I'm
Yeah.
very like, no, I have a plan. I need to be prepared. Yeah.
Right. Hey, opposites do attract though, right?
I guess they did.
Yeah, because I think if you date someone that's exactly the same as you, that could be boring maybe,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you guys challenge each other in different ways. You guys encourage each other and support each other in different ways. So you're saying communication is one of the biggest thing. I mean, what about the fun part about being married, right? There's a lot of girls out there who are dating. Because, like, how long were you and Anthony dating before he proposed?
Um,
Do you recall?
we were dating since 2014. 14, I want to say,
2014.
and we got married
Gotcha.
in 2021. So it was a while. Yeah.
Got it. Got it.
So, but I told him I didn't want to be married until after finishing nursing
School.
school. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Right? So, what are the good things about being married?
I mean, I like being married just because I have a partner, you know. I have
Yeah.
someone that I can always talk to. I could
Yeah.
always like confess stuff to, tell
Aw.
your secrets.
Yeah.
It's just having like, your best friend,
Mm,
basically.
I love that.
Yeah, so I mean, I like that part, especially now with the baby. Like, it was so
Yes.
fun yesterday, just like being like us three together and like
Aw.
seeing her so happy,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's such a gift. Wow. So, yeah, Alicia became a mom a year ago. Crazy, right?
yeah.
Just, watching her grow again from high school to getting married to becoming a mom through Bella and then now a mom through Atlas. Like, how has it been being a first time mommy?
I mean, at first it was hard. I mean, thankfully, again, my mom is like
Mm.
she's the best. Like, I don't know
Yes, she
what I would do
is.
without her. I
Aw.
mean, and my sisters too, like they're great.
Yes.
So, But I mean, yeah, it was hard. I mean,
Yeah.
but you know how it was.
Oh yeah.
It's hard, especially this lack of sleep. Like I wasn't
Yes.
ready for that.
Right? No matter how many times they talk about it, how many books you read
Yeah.
or watch, it's like, nah, till you go
But
through it.
thankfully I had a good pregnancy. But yeah, I mean, being a
Good.
mom is like the biggest like gift. I
Mm-hmm.
cannot like be grateful enough
Oh,
because
I love
yeah, I
it.
love Bella. I mean, I love Atlas so much. So.
Yes. I love it. Yeah, she's like, oh my gosh, she's full of joy.
Yeah.
And
Full
she,
of energy, doesn't go to sleep.
I know, my good. Yeah, they were here last night. We were watching like a UFC fight, right?
Yeah.
And you guys left probably like what, past nine,
I
I
think it was like
think? Was
10.
it
Yeah,
10?
it was 10.
And she didn't nap all day.
No, she took two 30-minute
Oh, two
naps.
30-minute,
Yeah.
which isn't really anything,
Yeah, that's
right?
nothing. At her age, she needs to be sleeping more.
Oh my
And then,
gosh.
yeah, we got home and she didn't fall asleep till almost an hour later. Just full of
Wow.
energy, still wanted to play.
Oh my goodness. And then
Yeah.
what time did she wake up the next day or this morning?
Today, she woke up at like 9.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so she slept long.
Not that long though. She went to bed at 11, so she didn't get her full 12 hours,
Oh,
but
that is so funny.
but still, as soon as she woke up, she starts laughing, just wants to play.
Oh,
So yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. Oh my gosh, that is beautiful, guys. Because Atlas started walking even before she turned a year, right?
Yeah, I think around like 11 months. Yeah.
Wow, wow, that is amazing. And I love it because Alicia and I were pretty much pregnant during the same time, right? So our
4 months
baby
apart.
boy,
Yeah.
4 months apart. Yeah, can you believe that? Like they're gonna grow up together, which is so beautiful, her and Kai, and we were just so excited to witness both of them like just growing old together, right? And becoming best friends and Atlas dominating Kai. So one day they're gonna watch this, right? I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
That is amazing, Alicia. Nice. Is there anything else in your season in life that you want to share with anyone? Or any
Mm,
advice out there? I know we talked about a couple of advices.
no, not that I can think of right now. I mean, just, I mean, if you're focused, like, you gotta stick to your goals.
Yeah.
Don't let
Yeah.
anybody tell you different. Like, just stick to your
Mm.
goals. And, I mean, just be happy in life too. Like, I mean, you have
Yeah.
fun, but just make
Yes.
sure, like, what you want in life. Yeah.
Yeah. And don't procrastinate. It's so easy
Yeah,
to
don't
procrastinate,
procrastinate.
right? I mean, because we're in January of this new year, right? 2025. And so many people that I know are going to the gym or they're eating right. But I swear, man, after January, everyone like falls off.
Yeah.
You have one cheat day and boom, that's it.
Yeah.
You know?
That's mine. Like, I'm procrastinating on cleaning the house, like cleaning Atlas's clothes.
Oh my gosh, let's not even talk about that because I got Leo's room. That
Yeah.
is a mess right now. No judging out there, right? But I'm like, I just need to get to it. But it's like, where do you find the time?
I don't know. There
You
is no
know?
time. And then when you do find the time, it's like you just want to relax. You're like,
Yes.
oh, I just want to take 20 minutes to relax. And then the
Yeah,
20 minutes turns into an hour.
that's
And
it.
then the day's gone.
And then it's all gone.
Yeah.
I know, that's crazy. Oh my gosh, Alicia. Well, wow. Thank you so much for being on this podcast with me.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you for sharing your story. So when is baby number two coming?
I don't know. When I get some sleep.
Right? Tell me about it, because man, I don't even know. Gosh, maybe till Atlas is two, maybe
No, I want to like maybe when she's like halfway, like 18 months
18
maybe.
months.
Yeah.
I love
So
it.
we'll see in a couple months.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
Because your siblings, right? Like under you,
Yeah, we're
obviously.
like 1 year apart each.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So
how was that growing up? Like
I feel
you and Michelle,
like we're
Eric?
all really close. Even though Leo and like April and Jill, they're
Yeah.
all older. Like I feel like
Yeah.
we're all pretty still close. Like that's
Yeah.
what
You
like
guys
growing up,
are.
we were just always close. Yeah.
I love. Can we talk about that for a second? Like, I know, hold on. Because, I know a lot of families and a lot of siblings aren't close, right? A lot of siblings only see each other during the holidays or special occasions or whatnot. But you guys, I've always admired this because I didn't have this growing up. Like I was separated from my siblings just because I had a broken, like my parents were divorced and I'd go back and forth a lot and stuff like that. But how did you guys keep close like that? That's so admirable, right? Because from the oldest to Joe to the youngest to Eric,
Yeah.
how did you guys like just always stay close?
I think it was my mom. Like
Mm,
I think just having like her and like also before her, it was like my grandma. Like
Yeah.
she always kept, there's a, what is that called? Like there's that person
Mm.
that's always keeping like
The
every
glue.
yeah that's keeping everybody together.
And that was grandma.
Yeah, that was grandma.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I love that. And I always say, and I've told you, man, I wish I met your guys' grandma.
Yeah.
You know, I think it was around, was it November that she passed away in that year?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I could just see everything that the legend that she left behind, like everything, like it just pours out of mom, pours out of all of mom's kids. And it's just so beautiful to witness. But I know one day we will meet her again in heaven, and I can't wait just to meet her. And I heard just how funny. What's your best memory? I mean, you probably have a few, but what's one of your best memories that you had with grandma?
I mean, I can't remember like that much. I mean, I
Yeah.
was in high school and I remember like just being, I think, yeah, I was in high school and I was just, she was living with us, I think for a good while. I can't remember exactly, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just remember just her always like laughing or wanting
Aw.
something to eat or
Really?
always just, I don't know, she was just so funny. Like, yeah, she was just
Aw.
so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It man, laughter and just being that type just, it brings people together,
Mm-hmm.
right? And laughter, it says in the Bible too, right? Like a cheerful heart, like it's good to the soul, it's good to the spirit, right? Um, and speaking of that season, Alicia, in your life, I know you said you're in high school. Can we talk to the people really quick about going through grief, right? How did you process that? How did you guys survive that even?
I mean, that was my first time having to go through grief. I
Yeah.
think that was, yeah, that was my first experience. Like, I never lost anybody before that. So that was really hard, especially being a teenager.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, it was hard because I was like, oh my gosh, she's not going to be at my high school, like, graduation.
Yeah.
It was just really hard. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we don't really talk about her that much either. So right now, like, yeah, it sucks. Like, I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
was hard. I mean, yeah, it was just really hard.
You guys just got through it just by being
Yeah,
there
just
for one
being
another.
together, yeah, with each other. Like I remember that day, like thankfully like my extended cousins and stuff, like I was going to a clinical
Mm-hmm.
for like ROP, like a course in
Uh-huh.
school for like medical assistant, and my cousin had picked me up, and then my mom was like, "Oh, your grandma passed away." And I was like,
Oh, is that day?
yeah, and I was already coming home though. So, I mean, we kind of already knew she was gonna pass that week, so it just sucked though, like to see everybody. But I mean, yeah, we got through it just by like, telling stories about grandma and like
Yeah.
laughing together about grandma and stuff
Yeah.
like that and our memories together that we shared.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And every year you guys go visit her, right? Whether it's a holiday or on her
Yeah, we probably
birthday.
yeah, more than a year. I mean, more than once a
Yeah.
year at
More than
least.
once a year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love that. Just sharing those memories together and stuff and being there for mom and all of that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, you mentioned that was your first time that you experienced grief. If we could fast forward a little bit, right? Your father-in-law, right? This was COVID year,
Mhm.
2020, 2020,
Mm,
2021.
2021. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And, obviously Anthony's dad and stuff like that. That was a tough year, guys, for everyone
Yeah.
and so much uncertainty. How did you guys, you want to talk a little bit about that? How did you guys get through that?
Yeah, that was pretty hard as well because I mean, I was working as a nurse already for what, this was my second year probably working as a nurse, and this was during COVID season, so I already was kind of used to seeing a lot of dead bodies, seeing a lot of
Oof.
people taking them to the morgue.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty hard. It was harder to see like Anthony go through that because I never seen him deal with that. I've never
Yeah.
seen him like, cry ever.
Yeah.
So that was the only first time I've seen him cry.
Man.
And then of course it was devastating for his mom, so,
Right.
and his family. So it was just really hard to be there. Like I saw it at work and then to realize like, oh shoot, this is really happening like
Right.
to somebody that I know.
Right.
So that was just like crazy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah. I remember just, just us officiating your guys' wedding and, the part where, when I was writing out what to even talk about, like, and then talking about his dad and stuff, like, man, that part was tough,
Yeah.
but I know that your grandma and Anthony's dad, and we have just angels out there just watching over us,
Yeah, of course.
right? And I know your grandma is probably smiling right now and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I could just see how like proud she is of you from just growing up and staying focused to what God has called you to be a nurse. And again, it's not by accident that you went to Chafee and met Anthony and became the stepmom of Bella and got married and just did everything right. You were
We tried to.
focused. You did, and gosh, I admire you for that because a lot of people your age are still partying, right? Are still out there and fighting themselves or whatnot. But even as a mom, like you balance it really well. Like I love, and I've learned this from you. I don't know if you picked this up, but I've learned how intentional you are with Anthony and having date
Oh
nights,
yeah.
right? That I was like, man, I got to do that with Leo. So until Kai came, right? You were helping us watch Leo,
Yeah.
right? And gosh, we appreciate that because we haven't had an outing for like close to a year.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys need just like that, not like just that like one-on-one time.
Yeah. Tell us, like, talk because you're newlywed. A lot of couples, a lot of married couples take that for granted. Why is it that you realize like we need that one-on-one together, that intimate time together?
I mean, cause yeah, there's just so much like chaos. I feel like so much going on. Like even the other day, I think last weekend, we were like, oh yeah, let's plan a trip, and then
Mm-hmm.
other plans came up, and we never ended up planning the trip. So,
Got
I
it.
mean, life just happens. But yeah,
Yes.
it's really important, I think, to just spend that even a little date, like even just to go to dinner for 2 hours or
Yeah.
go see a movie. I
Yeah.
think it really helps just to like reconnect, basically,
Absolutely.
because you forget like I mean, obviously you talk to your husband like just in the
On
bed
a
or like
daily,
on a
right?
daily, but you're talking about like the kids or
Yes.
school or like what
Mm.
happened in life, but you're not really like, oh, how do you feel? Like you're I don't know. I feel like you're
Mm.
not really like invested in like your emotions.
I
So
love
that's like you
that.
get to sit down and actually talk about your emotions.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. So us as wives, right, as females, we're more emotional.
Yeah, we're definitely emotional.
Right. So how do you get him? Can you give any advice if it's ever worked? How do you get him to talk? Because it's kind of hard for husbands to talk. They joke
No,
around a
yeah,
lot.
yeah. Yeah, I feel like yeah, he jokes a lot. So, I mean, it's mainly me talking about my emotions and I'm like, "Well, how do you feel?" So
Yeah.
I do have to pull it out of him, but I don't know, like eventually I get it out of him.
Got it. Got
Yeah, I
it.
just think persistence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Persistence is key, guys. Remember that. And he must be a great listener, though.
For the
For
most part.
real.
For the most part.
She paused
He
a little bit.
listens but then forgets. So, I wouldn't say the best.
That's so funny. You're so right. I think that's just how guys are, right? Or it looks like they're listening,
Yeah.
but like they're thinking about something
Or they'll
else.
tell you what you want to hear at that moment.
True.
Like he's great at that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so
Yeah.
funny. Wow, okay. Well, Lisa, did you have any questions? Or gosh, thank you for sharing like your whole life journey pretty much.
Well, thanks for having me. No, I don't have any questions. I mean, just like what brought you here again? Like to do this whole podcast?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, what brought me here was I think I mentioned it in my very first podcast. So back in 2011-ish, I had my own like blog on YouTube, right? Before podcasts
Oh.
even came alive. And it was through a nonprofit that I had called Help Me Make a Difference. And this is in my single mom era. And I don't know, I felt a call even back then to just pull up a mic and the video and just talk about life and things that I've been through. And fast forward to where we are at now, you know, funny thing is TikTok actually helped me because
Mm.
through TikTok I felt like I always felt like a nudge from the Holy Spirit talking about like say something about scripture, right? I always wanted it not to be my words, but his words through the Bible and me applying to whatever I'm going through. And growing up, I always wanted to be a counselor
Mm.
because people always said like, Mel, you have a good listening ear and you could just make people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what a podcast is about, right? So me just inviting guests over. So thank you for
It's
coming.
like a outspoken therapy session.
For real, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool, I'm just going to apply this to this and just, hopefully people will listen and could relate. And yeah, thank you for your support and thank you for asking that great question. And thanks for being on. And like I said, you're my very first guest. So I'm
Woot
super
woot.
excited, right? So thank you guys for tuning into this episode of Compassion Diaries. Thank you again for your support. And if you feel that you want to send this out to friends who might be wanting to become a nurse or who are newly married or who is a step parent or newly moms, please, share this story of Alicia's story and continue to show support. And we appreciate you guys. So remember, guys, be encouraged. God is faithful and God
God
bless.
bless.